Hey, just saw the Dixie D'Amelio video being like, I just need to marry rich because I don't want to work. If I see another influencer be like, oh, today is such a busy day, like, I'm already late, and their entire day is just appointments. It's just errands. I'm like, I save up for those days. I love those days. That would be, I rarely get to have those days, actually, because I can't afford the appointments. Like, I can't even afford a doctor's appointment. Oh my God, please, God, please just give me the life of an influencer. Please give me the life of Dixie D'Amelio, because she clearly doesn't fucking like it enough. She just said, I want to marry rich because I don't want to work anymore. You work for yourself. What are we talking about? You could take, 3 months off if you wanted to and just go make content in a different country. Like, oh my God, I'm going to freak out. And I'm so emotional right now. But I'm tired. I'm so tired of hearing this shit. I'm literally such a girl. Like, I'm such a fucking girl. Grow up. Why am I crying? I don't know. Probably because I think I'm never gonna get married. That's my thought of the day. Like, what if I don't get married? Like, why is that bothering me? What is wrong with me? Seriously. I thought I was over this shit. Why am I crying? Oh my God, I'm so annoying.
Alright guys, so we gotta react to yet again another one of these videos of these Gen Z women who are breaking down in tears on the internet, TikTok mainly, over the fact that they have to be an adult. They gotta put their big boy pants on, right? Because this is what feminists told women, right? Feminists told women the key to happiness is getting a job, working a 9 to 5, having a boss. Okay, the key to happiness is not staying at home with the kids and, you know, being with your husband and having a family. No, that's not the key to happiness. The key to happiness is trying to be a man, right? And it seems like Gen Z women aren't really handling that too well, okay? It seems like they're crumbling under the weight of actually having to be an adult. And that is what is happening in this video as this Gen Z woman breaks down in tears over the fact that she has to get up and go to work every single day to work a 9 to 5 job. Take a look.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9 to 5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like, fucking duh! If I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here, like, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till, like, 6:15 earliest, and then, like, I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like, I don't have energy to work out. Like, that's out the window. Like, I'm so upset. Oh my God. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just, like, the 9 to 5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, like, if it was remote, you get off at 5 and you're home and everything's fine. But, like, I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and, like, people that drive to the office, like, you don't get off at 5, and I know it could be worse. I know I could be working longer, but, like, I literally get off, it's pitch black, like, I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like, how do you have time to, like, meet, like, a guy? I don't know. Like, how do you have time for, like, dating? Like, I don't have time for anything, and I'm, like, so stressed out, and I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional, but, like, am I so dramatic? It's fine.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. What you have there is a Gen Z woman breaking down in tears, okay, because she can't handle working a 9 to 5. Now, before I get into this, I want to preface this, right? Because I understand that people are struggling nowadays because of Bidenomics, right? Biden's inflation, wages, real wages have not kept up with inflation. In fact, the average household is paying $700 more per month just to survive than they were before Biden got in office, right? That's just a fact. So I understand everybody's going through the struggle. However, Gen Z is acting like their struggle is much more than prior generations. And that is really what kind of rubs me the wrong way. And the reason why is because they're not struggling more than the prior generations. It's just the fact that our culture has changed. And with the advent of technology, you have women that are being encouraged to go into the workforce to do something that, in my opinion, is unnatural to them, to work a 9 to 5, to try to be a man, when, again, the natural role of a woman is to be in the house, right? To be a mother. Now, I'm not saying women can't work. I'm just saying maybe, just maybe, this experiment of having women work just probably is not the way to go. Maybe it is causing some emotional issues for women. And I think that's kind of what you're saying. Okay, I want to go over some of this data here, okay, to kind of back up what I'm saying, because I think that back in the day, due to having a different culture, as Americans, we didn't consume as much, right? Our expectations in regards to what we wanted out of life was not as much as it is today, right? Today, Gen Z thinks they're struggling because they can't afford Starbucks when they can just, get much cheaper coffee by making their own coffee, right? Or that they think they're struggling because they can't get the newest iPhone. Now, again, look, before Biden inflation, okay, real wages, adjusted for inflation, that is, have been constant since basically the 1970s, okay? So it's not like people are making less money. Now, again, who knows? In the last few years with Bidenomics, yeah, people are making less money. Like, in real wages, we are, again, thanks to Bidenomics. But, again, generally speaking, before Bidenomics, people had the same purchasing power as they had 40 years ago, okay? But what has actually risen here is just the real disposable personal income per capita. And this is why I say Gen Z is not having it much harder than the generations before, because back in the day, the real disposable personal income per capita was much less, okay? People did not have as much disposable income back in the day. And they also did not consume as much. However, over time, we developed a culture of consumerism, right? We have to consume. You have to have the newest thing. You got to have the newest gadget, the newest tech, okay? And I think that we've created necessities in our lives that actually aren't real necessities, because they weren't necessary to survive back in the day. And people really, again, did not have to make as much money in order to survive, right? In terms of real wages, because they just didn't consume as much, right? They didn't consume as much. So what you have is that with the rise of consumption, you also have the rise of dual income households, right? If you look from the 1960s to 2010, you once had 70% of households that were only the father was employed. Now, most households, 60%, are dual income, right? Of married couples with children under 18 years old. Now, again, what is happening here, right? What is happening? Well, again, it's not like wages have went down or purchasing power has went down to the point where, again, it is necessary to have a dual income to survive. What is actually happening is, because we're consuming more, our idea of how much money you need to actually survive basically has been twisted based off increasing consumption, right? And I think that, again, that is now driven women into the workforce, because we want to consume more, we want to buy more, we want the nicest car, we want the nicest phone, we want the nicest television. And again, that has driven women into the workforce. They have to work. And our idea of what we need to actually survive, again, has been twisted. Now, again, a lot of this stuff, this is pre-Biden, right? This is pre-Biden, because under Biden, real wages have declined, right? People are struggling more today than they have before in the past in real terms. But I guess what I'm saying is that in relation to this woman, obviously what you can see going on with Gen Z is that the feminist mindset that you need to work, right? That you as a woman, you need to go in the workforce, you need to work a 9 to 5, you need to try to be a man, put off marriage, put off having kids. Don't focus on that. Focus on your career. I think a lot of women mentally are struggling with it, because it's not necessarily something that, in my opinion, is natural to them, right? As you can see, this Gen Z TikToker, this woman is struggling, right? She had a mental breakdown over whether or not she would get married. Right? She's like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get married. Will I get married? Right? And she's struggling, right? She's also struggling over working a 9 to 5. So again, in my opinion, I think that what you're saying, because a lot of this backlash against the 9 to 5 are coming from Gen Z women, is that with the increase in consumption, as a society, we have warped expectations in regards to how much money you actually need to survive or to even have a good life. Again, this TikToker paid a lot of attention to influencers, right? She's looking at other influencers and she's saying, why is my life not like that? Their life is so easy, right? All they do is get up and they go on these vacations and they get their nails done and they do this and they do that. Why can't my life be that way? Why can't I consume more and work less? Again, this is a warped reality. This is a reality that is only something that exists in modern day, right? Where again, we're consuming more than ever before. That means our expectations are unrealistically high in regards to how much money you actually need to live a good life. And I do think that that is driving people into depression, right? This girl clearly, in my opinion, is experiencing some signs of depression, right? I would suggest that, hey, maybe she seeks some type of counsel in order to cope with, the reality of having to work or having to be in the workforce. Now, that is me trying to be understanding of her situation, because part of me, again, wants to say, well, you need to suck it up, right? You need to suck it up and you need to accept the fact that this is what you have to do as an adult, because again, this is what you have to do as an adult, right? If you want to live that lifestyle, okay, clearly you need to put in the work, right? That's the reality. Everybody can't be an influencer, but in this woman's case, she talks about not having time to do anything, not having time to date, to find a boyfriend, to cook her own food, but she has plenty of time to make TikToks, right? Because her whole TikTok is filled with her doing nothing but making TikToks. So again, there's a little bit of disconnect here in regards to what this woman is complaining about versus what she spends her time doing. You have all the time in the world to sit on TikTok, but yet you don't have time to find a man, right? You don't have time to, date or to hang out with friends. Again, I'm just not buying into the sob story, right? I'm not buying into the sob story. I'm not buying into this idea that Gen Z has it so much harder than everybody else. No, it is an illusion, okay? It is an illusion because Gen Z, our expectations in regards to consumption are much higher than they have been in the past, right? We consume too much. Our expectations are too high. And I think that is what's driving people to have these breakdowns and to feel the way they're feeling, to feel like they're struggling more than they actually are because they're trying to keep up with unrealistic expectations that they see on social media, right? They're trying to keep up with what they think everybody around them has, okay? And it's to the point where, again, these kids think they're poor, right? They think they're poor because they have to work a entry-level job where they make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year when that's the expectation and the norm, right? I mean, that's basically what I went through when I came out of college, right? When I entered the workforce, okay? And if I wanted more money, guess what I did? I worked more, right? I had a part-time job doing Uber, and I Ubered on the weekends, okay? I Ubered on the weekends. I didn't go out and party and drink and, all this other stuff. I made sacrifices because I know that if I wanted more, then I needed to work more. I needed to earn more money. I needed to put in the work. And it seems to me that Gen Z doesn't want to do that, right? They rather boohoo, whine, and complain and pretend like they have it much worse than everybody else, when that's just not the case. You don't have it worse than everybody else. It's just that your expectations are higher in regards to what you think you need to survive than everybody else, right? You don't need a new iPhone. You don't need the new cup of coffee. You don't need the latest television. You don't need the latest, game. You don't need any of that stuff, right? You don't need any of that stuff. It's all in your head, okay? And I'm not saying that people aren't struggling. Again, with Biden inflation, people are definitely struggling, okay, in real terms. But again, when we're talking about that, we're talking about buying food, okay, groceries, things that people actually need to survive. Yes, people are struggling more than they have in recent years when it comes to that, thanks to Biden. But in general, okay, this, idea that Gen Z has it much worse and that they're struggling more than anybody else, so that they have to work harder than the prior generations is just nonsense. Humans have always had to work, whether you're a man or a woman. Now, again, humans have done different types of work based off whether you're a man or a woman. Like, even when women didn't work as much, when you had more single income households, the man made the money, the woman stayed at home. She wasn't just staying at home, sitting on her iPhone all day and playing on social media and TikTok. No, she was working. She was actually taking care of the house, which I would argue probably is more meaningful work. It'll probably make a woman happier to embrace her natural role as a woman, right? I would argue that. But it definitely was harder, probably harder than working a 9 to 5. Okay, it definitely was harder than working a 9 to 5. This woman actually has it easy. Okay, she actually has it easy in the sense that all she has to do is work a 9 to 5, and for the most part, she's good, right? For the most part, that's probably the easy path. The hard path is to actually be a wife and a mother, okay, to have to take care of a house, to have to take care of children. That is hard work, right? But again, it's fulfilling work for a woman. And in my opinion, it will be much more fulfilling than what she's doing now. A lot of these kids, their minds have been warped by social media, and it has made them have unrealistic expectations, and that is driving them into having these types of breakdowns and depression because, again, they have unrealistic expectations in regards to survival, okay, and how much money is actually needed to survive. And also on top of that, again, I think a lot of these women are being pushed into doing something that, again, women just naturally probably aren't accustomed to doing, which is getting up and working a 9 to 5 job, okay, rather than, being at home and being a mother. But again, a lot of that pressure for women to join the workforce and to make money is not because, again, you need more money to survive, but just because we have increased expectations in regards to consumption, right? We want more things, okay? And I think that this video, this TikTok, it says a lot about society and our culture, and it's pretty fascinating stuff to watch. I think the problem is going to get worse. I think you're going to see a lot more of kind of the breakdown happening with Gen Z because they're being exposed to a lot of stimulus that in prior generations we weren't necessarily exposed to. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of this stuff. It really is fascinating, but also sad as well to witness. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.